Hello and welcome to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast, the show where we spotlight the people, ideas and strategies shaping the future of aesthetic business. I'm your host, Nicole Montgomery, and in each episode, we bring you conversations with industry leaders, innovators and experts who are redefining what success looks like in aesthetics. Today's episode is all about business, brand integration, and the importance of skincare. We're joined by Jamal Ammar to talk about his business journey, how he integrates his clinical into his practice, and why skincare plays such a crucial role in client outcomes, trust, and long-term clinic success. This is a great conversation for clinic owners, practitioners, and aesthetic professionals who want to better understand how skincare can support both patient results and business growth. Our guest today is Jamal Ammar, a respected professional in the aesthetic space with a strong focus on business growth, client experience, and the role of high-quality skincare in achieving consistent outcomes. Jamal brings valuable insight into what it takes to build and grow a successful aesthetic business while also creating a treatment philosophy that supports clients beyond the procedure room. In this episode, we explore how he integrates his clinical into his business, why skincare matters more than ever, and how clinics can use education and strategy to improve both results and relationships. Jamal, welcome to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. A Teams link just came up and I was like, what have I done? I confused myself.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. I literally just finished now, been with patients all day, which was fun.
Your skin is like glass. It's glowing.
You know what? I took inspiration from you as well. I bought one of the lights.
Oh.
But do you know the latest treatment that I've been doing is I've been doing a little bit of RF microneedling. There's so much controversy behind it. And I think that people think that if you do more, you're going to get a better result. I do very superficial treatments on myself once in a blue moon, and it works really well. I combo it with the NCTF Skin Booster, and it's amazing. It's so good, honestly. Like, it's so underrated, and there's so much fear behind it, but you just do very light treatment, create those microchannels with it, pop on some NCTF, and I also used, Vanna from Redox.
Yes.
Yeah, I used her post-procedural gel, and it works a treat. And there's no filter. It's very good. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, wow, it's so shiny.
No, I love it. Let me see if I should remove the blur. Yeah, that's better.
Look fantastic. So,
Thank you.
I'm going to jump straight into it today because I've had a busy day in clinic.
No, it's okay.
But I would love if you could kick off by telling us about your business journey. I'm sure you didn't just wake up one day running a successful clinic.
No, so I was on the opposite end with my business where I was a consumer, and I always thought that there was like a bit of a gap in the market for a place where you could get everything done. So for me, I'm a registered nurse and I practice with cosmetic medicine. But I wanted to create something where when a patient would come into my business, they would have access to everything. So whether it be coming in for something as simple as a skin consultation and wanting to get some skincare prescribed, or a laser-based treatment, or injectables, that I wanted to have something where people didn't need to kind of go searching elsewhere. Started in the industry about 4 years ago, and started off injecting and then expanded from there. So we've got a whole host of different technology, and it's not all about perfect aesthetics. It's about creating plans for patients that are wanting to help improve their skin quality, their tone, their texture, redness, rosacea, any kind of major concern that doesn't really warrant sort of medical guidance as such. So, if there's a really complex skin concern, then, we cross-refer. But that was my dream, and now it's reality. So I work between two main locations, Camperdown and Bella Vista. Yeah, and I really love what I do.
No, you can tell because you're always so happy and passionate and excited.
Thank you. Well, look, the thing is, the saying, it goes, do what you love and never work a day in your life. And honestly, I feel very lucky to be able to do that. It's a real blessing to be able to love this so much where, at the end of the day, you're a little bit tired, but it doesn't feel like work for me ever.
No, that's wonderful. And what drew you from the cosmetic surgery side to the skincare side of the business?
So, in terms of skincare specifically, I've mentioned this on the last podcast. I went on my own journey where I had really severe cystic acne, and I feel like a broken record every time I say it, but it's true, where I kind of learned the basics of ingredients and putting things together. And even though it wasn't high-end stuff back then, and I didn't kind of understand it to the level that I do now, I realized that it needed to be a foundation in my business, because the thing is, why would I be sending them to somewhere else where I could be prescribing skincare? So the attitude that I have is, if we can prescribe or have, create treatment plans using prescription medicine, the same thing should apply with skincare, and we shouldn't have that fear. So I realized that there was like a gap within the business, and I wanted to kind of apply what I do with medical aesthetics, the same with skincare as well. And they're just as important as each other. If we don't have a good foundation with our skin, then your medical aesthetics aren't going to be complemented, and vice versa. So that's where I found the gap.
Absolutely. And there's a different level, I think, of empathy when you've experienced what the client has experienced.
I think so too, because you're talking, as we know as nurses, we speak from the lived experience, and that applies to anyone. And I think, even though maybe I don't have rosacea, we can talk about the mental impact that it has on our skin every day when we look in the mirror and we go, I don't feel good about myself. So there's a real like psychological part of this that does apply when it comes to it. So you're right, definitely we lead with empathy when it comes to what we do, and it's not all about being perfect. It's about feeling good about ourselves as well.
Absolutely. And I'm assuming you didn't start off with all of these really cool devices and products. How has your business evolved over time? And have there been any hard lessons along the way?
Look, I think the thing is, when I purchased my very first device, which was an RF microneedling device, I was like, this is incredible. We can do so much with one modality. And then I kind of listened to what my patients were after when it came to things. So then I invested in a HIFU tightening device, and then moved on to a Q-switch device, which we can treat or manage melasma, rosacea. I think the big thing that I kind of learned along the way is that you have to put money into your business to get money back. And that's a big thing that people are scared of doing, where they think, oh yeah, we can do a lot of injectables, we can make quick money. But the thing for me is, I'm looking at building and growing a business rather than quick wins. Like it's a slow game when it comes to it. I've also learned that you shouldn't really be following the main trends that are out there. So if someone has a particular device, it may not work for you. It's really about looking at your demographics, looking at your client base, looking at analytics, which, as business owners, especially in aesthetics, we have to wear all different hats. So it was more about just kind of looking at all of those things and not listening to some of the outside noise, and doing the right things by my business and by my patient.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But Jamal, now more than ever is the hardest time for nurses and clinic owners, specifically in medical aesthetics, because you can't promote what you do, you can't give pricing, you can't talk about the treatments or do cool reels with, different things. There's so many things you can't do, and even things you can do, it's a little bit like, can I really do that? Can I not? Is someone going to complain about me? It's so hard. What advice would you give somebody to create a strong foundation and, I guess, help them to generate a clientele?
The funny thing that you're saying about that, in terms of the advertising laws, when they came in, I'm like, oh, this is it. It's game over. But the funny thing is, my business has actually grown as a result. So the thing, or the advice that I would give to other practitioners out there that are saying, oh, I'm struggling, when it comes to it, is I've shifted a lot of my brand towards myself, talking about different things within my business organically, whether it be we're talking about, a skincare brand or skin-based concern, and trying to connect with your audience, because new patients and followers will feel that through the camera. And that's the first question that I ask when any patient comes into my clinic is, how did you find out about me? And they go, oh, I've watched you on social media and I felt this thing with you, or felt this kindness, or something that they resonated with. And it's all about being smart, trying to be as compliant, because the rules aren't as black as white as we all think. But if you just take a look and think outside of the box a little bit, where it's not all about injectables and drive your business towards a skincare or skin-based business, you will see a completely different side of things. That's how I feel anyway.
I totally agree. Building authenticity and credibility in yourself as a practitioner builds trust. And then when you've got that trust, people will come in to get your advice and have a consult with you.
Yes, no, most definitely. The thing is, they get to know you before they've even met you. And I think that's a very strong thing that people tend to forget. People are scared. This isn't something that comes naturally to me. I kind of just put it out there and I'm just like, what's the worst that can happen? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I heard a speaker yesterday who did this talk on AI and whatnot, and she created 360 posts in 4 minutes based off different presentations and her website and whatever, and was like, there you go, ta-da, my social media calendar is now done for an entire year in 4 minutes, and the AI will now schedule it all. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, there's people going, wow, this is amazing. It takes the workload off. And I'm thinking, well, it's just like, what? No, it's so obvious that it's AI, and it's so obvious it's just a generic post for the sake of it. It's not in any way, building a rapport or trust with your clientele, your audience.
So look, AI is very strong in some cases, like especially when it comes to my administrative type of duties that I need to do for work. But in terms of creating posts and content, I don't think this is me personally, think it's a smart idea to create a year's worth of content. Things are going to change month to month from our industry, when it comes to particular treatments, trends, or products or compliance things within, ARPA and TG. I feel like we can't keep up. I think 4 to 6 weeks at a time, which is what we tend to do with my social media team, is very smart, that you can kind of change or adjust things and, change the tune if you need to. Yeah, I think relying on AI too much when it comes to social media isn't a great thing, because people sell to people and people connect with people. So I think it's a smart tool when used right for your background work to help with efficiency. Social media, not so much in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jamal, apart from the beautiful, shiny, royal blue packaging, you've integrated Is Clinical. Can you tell us why and what attracted you to the brand?
So true story, I was on the hunt for a brand that was cosmeceutical, that had clinical backing, and that had everything that I needed from it, that I didn't need to go search like from another brand to pick up like another product. So my beautiful rep, Nikki, and I were talking, and she's like, you've got to try it. And I'm like, okay, let me give it a go. And it ticked the box for everything. It had products that were for, acne prone skin, for sensitive based skin, such as rosacea, which I see a lot of in my practice as well, but then everyday normal skin types. So I tried it out and I fell in love with it, and it knocked all the other brands out of the park for me. So for me to be able to recommend a brand, I need to actually use it and I need to believe in it. And I do use it, and I'm still trying out some of their products, I try not to get tempted to open up a bottle of something before, finishing off. So at the moment, what am I using? I'm using their Gen XC serum, which I'm absolutely in love with. It's overall, it's an incredible brand. I can't fault it.
It is beautiful. I love the peel wipes.
The active peel system. I do those before an event. If I go, I need a quick pick me up, because us practitioners are the worst when it comes to getting treatments ourselves. By the time we're done pouring all that energy and taking care of our patients, we just want to go home. So those peel pads are a must, whether you're traveling or you've got an event or you just want to look really glowy. I love them. Especially there's a new version that's out, which is a little bit stronger. They're really nice, but yeah, love the active peel system.
And what was it about Is Clinical that made it a right fit for your clinics, your 2 clinics? And how did you find the clients responded when you first brought the brand into your clinics?
So, like I said, I tried a few different brands, and, for me to be wowed by a particular brand, I need to see a visible difference, within my skin. So I tried a few of the cleansers. I tried some of the serums as well. And I was like, yeah, this is the one. I could see a visible difference in terms of how bright my skin looked, how hydrated it was as well. specifically for me, I wanted something that could really target sensitive skin types. Like I said, I get a lot of rosacea prone skin types, and I needed like a particular product that fit the brief for that, which is the Pro Heal Serum. So I said, yep, let's go in. I picked what I thought were my key favorites, and I expanded from there. And patients were really receptive. Patients are receptive. If you recommend something to them or prescribe skincare routine to them, they will trust you, and they will be loyal to you. The other big thing as well for me is I wanted a brand that was online protected, which wasn't, everywhere as well. So that was a really important thing for me when choosing a skincare brand. But patients have been really receptive. Patients absolutely love the range, and I don't need to pick up a product from another range for them. Everything that I've recommended or prescribed to them is clinical, and they're loving it. They're like, Jamal, my skin has changed. My skin is the calmest it's ever been, or my skin looks brighter, or it's more plump. I can prescribe to all different skin types. So that's why I was really drawn to it as well. It's luxe, it's beautiful. But in comparison to other brands, when people are scared, they go, oh, I think it might be a bit too expensive. It's actually not. We're using a cosmeceutical founded brand that is super concentrated. And if you recommend products to patients in the right way and you tell them how much to use, they won't use as much and they'll see the results from it. So that's why I love the range.
I love that, because I do find that, especially when you're at conferences and, last year, all the different ABM speakers, there was a lot of talk around how to sell and how to integrate sales. And again, as a clinician, that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people.
Yeah. I think when it comes to skincare, similar thing. If we can prescribe medical aesthetics or recommend medical aesthetics, the same thing applies with skincare. If you know your basics of your ingredients or your skin types, as people that work within the aesthetic world, we need to be experts with skin as well. We should be recommending it. And yes, I've heard this as well, that selling doesn't come naturally. But if you just start to recommend in a way that isn't too overwhelming for yourself or for your patients, don't be scared of rejection. If a patient says, no, that's a bit much, taper it down to 1 or 2 products. You'll have their trust, and then they will benefit from it just as much. And then that's an extra income revenue that you have just by recommending products. So I think the thing is, when it comes to recommending products, you're selling without selling. You're recommending a product because there's a need for it with a patient, right? So it's all about building up that confidence within yourself, which will build confidence with your patients to trust you with taking products as well from their appointments.
Yeah. I love that you're using the word prescribe instead of sell.
But the thing is, we are prescribing skincare. Like when you say you're recommending, I say to them, look, if you were to come in for an appointment and you're saying, I want all of this done, there's a big conversation between need versus want. Patient may want something, but what they actually need is some skincare or a skin-based treatment. I would rather a patient come in, we spend 20 minutes, half an hour together, and I'm literally putting and prescribing skincare. We're not recommending. We're medical professionals. We prescribe. We don't recommend. And, there's that sort of luxe element to it as well when we say prescribe. We should be proud to prescribe those sort of things to our patients as well. And they love that. I think it's very powerful with the terminology and the way that we speak and the way that we use those words that will translate to these aren't just beauty treatments that we recommend or beauty products. They're practitioner brands only, or, they're prescription only, and they're very bespoke. So I like that element of that luxe feeling of saying, I'm going to prescribe you some skincare today. You're like, oh, okay, great.
I love it. It's fantastic. And I mean, I suppose it's like people say, if you're going to buy a, $50,000 leather couch, you'll buy the leather care pack with it, and, or a beautiful car, you'll buy whatever extras and whatnot. And it's the same if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on injectables or laser treatments, why would you not buy the pre and post care?
Well, exactly. You wear your face every day. So if you have that beautiful Louis Vuitton bag or that Bottega Veneta, and you're carrying that and you're spending X amount on that bag as well, your face is something that you wear every day. And that's something that you can help with the aging process by being proactive rather than reactive. That's what I tend to say to patients. So no, 100%. I definitely agree with that.
And Jamal, how do you incorporate is clinical into your overall client journey? Is it a conversation on the way out the door that you just add in, or is it part of your actual consultation and treatment process?
It's always part of my consultation process. So this is what I'm going to be talking about at Aesthetic Business Masters. And I want to really empower people because it's helped me so much. So the thing is, it's all about how we kind of direct conversation. We start off with the basics. We get to know our patients. We get to know what they're doing at home in order to kind of give them a beautiful treatment plan. And the thing is, sometimes they may not want it, and it's not for us to kind of push or pressure, but at least it gives us a good snapshot of understanding, right, this is what you're doing at home. Great. You're ticking all the boxes there, or no, you're not, because I ultimately want to complement what I can do in clinic and get them to do it at home as well. So it happens before they even come in. So there's a consultation form that's sent out to them, and we're capturing all of those details. And then we use that as a conversation starter or a consultation tool when we're sitting and talking to them as well. So again, even though sometimes patients may not want that, we've had that conversation, we've planted those seeds, and we said to them, look, this is what I'm going to recommend to you. This is what I would say to use at home. And look, 98% of the time, they will walk away with at least one product. But generally, they'll go, no, I'm ready. I'm committed. Let's do this. Let's try out a few products. And look, if they genuinely have something at home that they're using and they like it, and I'll say to them, look, don't throw it out, finish it off, and then we'll transition you over. But let's fill in the gaps for now. And I find that works really well because you're being respectful of them, respectful of their finances as well when they come in, that they don't feel like they're being, forced to buy everything. I'm like, okay, that's a great brand. Finish that off. I want to transition you over to this brand or to is clinical because I think that this product will do better.
That makes perfect sense. And I feel that everybody, surely, laymen, children, not in the industry, know that it's important to clean your skin from a cleansing perspective and to obviously wear sunscreen. But outside of those very basic, skincare rituals that we have as Australians, what is it that you do to educate clients on, and I guess, or what do you believe is important about skincare in getting the best outcomes from a treatment?
So look, in terms of getting the best outcomes for a treatment, sometimes we need to actually prep the skin. So if barrier function is impaired, we can generally tell by looking at it or using a skin analyzer type device that we actually say to them, like I'll have patients that come in and go, I want to go from 0 to 100. When I say 0 to 100, they go, oh, yep, I've made up my mind. I want to do RF microneedling. And I'm like, well, your skin won't be able to handle it. So that's where the education part really comes in, that we're like, right, let's rebuild your barrier. Let's talk about the skincare that you're using. Yep, we're going to use some calming ingredients. We're going to use some hydrating ingredients. We're going to rebuild that barrier, and then we're going to check back in, and then we're going to do your treatment. So that's where that conversation actually happens with patients, where we're saying, you're not just cleansing and moisturizing, you're actually treating the skin. Some serums aren't just a serum for hydration. Some serums are, treating your skin. So like I said, rosacea or pigmentation, or even just dehydrated skin, or if they've overstripped their barrier with some sort of exfoliant, it's our job to kind of educate them and take them back and say, you don't need this, or you may be doing too much of this. And a lot of it comes from self-education from TikTok, Instagram, social media, that we need to kind of retrain them or re-educate them to say, you're talking to me and this is what I'm telling you and recommending for you specifically as an individual. No, you don't need a vitamin C, or no, you may not need a retinol because you're told to because of TikTok. This is what you actually need. So that's how I kind of guide those conversations in practice.
Yeah. And do you think that some clients still underestimate the importance of skincare because they think I can just get some injectables and freeze those wrinkles and it'll all be good?
100%. It happens all the time. And when I say to patients, I'll go, oh, there you go, I love your skin. I'm like, would you believe that I don't actually have a lot of time to treat me? Yes, I'll do the basics of getting some injectable treatments done, but it comes a lot down to what I'm using at home. And that is clinical. And, I'll chop and change depending on the season or the weather, what my skin needs are. But yes, definitely underestimate. And again, it's our job to educate them on using particular products for their skin. And even if it's changing one or two items or starting off with something basic or 3 basic products, your cleanser, your treatment serum, your moisturizer, sunscreens are non-negotiable, so I don't include it in those 3. But they're like, oh, wow, yeah, no, I can really tell a difference in my skin now. It happens all the time in my hair.
And how do you educate clients on the value of is clinical compared to, I suppose, going to Chemist Warehouse and buying something, I don't know, on sale for that month?
So I compare it with cars. I'll say you've got your Toyota, that'll do the job, right? And then you've got your Rolls Royce, right? So I tell them that there's a lot of science, a lot of backing, and this is created specifically for, you know, so for example, when I say your skin type to a patient, so I tell them that there's enough science and backing to say that this is going to work. Yes, you may have a product or a car that will do the job and it will do it okay, but is it actually targeting your concerns, right? That's where I kind of tell them or educate them. They're like, oh yeah, look, that makes sense. And it breaks down those barriers when it comes to things such as fear of spending or in terms of cost, because you're comparing an apple to an orange. They're very different. They will do different things. So that's how I kind of break it down. I think it's, like I said, it's a bit of a natural thing because I went on my own skincare journey and I find that it does make such a huge difference to re-educate.
And I'm assuming that obviously your recurring loyal clients, you're not continually reselling to. From the time that you have incorporated Is Clinical into your clinic, have you seen better retention in clients? Have you seen a lot of repurchasing? How has it changed your business?
Think the thing is people underestimate the value of a brand like Is Clinical in your own clinic or your practice, because the thing is, like I said, it's an online protected brand that's really important for us as small business owners. But patients will actually specifically come in and go, oh yeah, I'm due for my skincare. So the thing is, we're seeing patients on average for their medical aesthetic treatments every 3 to 4 months. Or if we're doing skin treatments every 4 to 6 weeks, right? So I'm finding better retention with my patients because, we've got Is Clinical as one of our main brands. We've got loyal patients that are coming in that are saying, I'm going to buy from you to support you because it's price protected as well. So, and it's added an extra revenue stream. So when I look at my numbers specifically, I'm like, oh, okay, I've made that much just from selling skincare or from prescribing skincare. Great. So it really has shaped my business in a way that I didn't think, because it's adding an extra layer on top of what I do, where it's not us just talking about, all right, we're going to do your anti-wrinkle and your dermal fillers. It's us saying, let's focus on the basics of your skin health and let's steer you towards other treatments that could potentially benefit you, which has helped as a small business that we're not just focusing on injectables, but we can do other things to their skin as well.
Absolutely. And also, you're only one person. There's only so many hours in the day that you can fill. So if you're selling retail as well, that those recurring clients that are continuing to buy are not taking up your time, which is incredibly valuable.
Well, that's the thing as well. If we look at how long it takes to prescribe skincare and the revenue that's made from that skincare that we're genuinely recommending or prescribing to our patients, it's a no-brainer. Every single clinic should have skincare in their practice. And if they don't, they're missing out. This is the thing. Clinicians will think about skincare and go, I can do more in half an hour. But are you tapping into a market of patients that you don't have right now that may want to do medical aesthetics but are scared? Or patients that you have that you're doing medical aesthetics and you've run out of things to do? And that's the thing. We're going more towards a regenerative approach and a more holistic, more skin-based approach where people want to take care of their skin now and they're focusing on skin quality. So it makes sense to have a brand in there. And honestly, like Is Clinical has changed my business tenfold. It's made it better, and patients are going, oh my God, I love this brand. And they come specifically to me to purchase it as well.
That's so amazing. And I think Mecca is a great example. As a middle-aged client, walking into somewhere like Mecca is so overwhelming and so crazy. And, you just don't know where what's what. And the price range is astronomical between brands, what makes this more valuable. So to have someone actually prescribe something that is unique to your skin is incredible.
And the thing is, patients are quite surprised when they purchase something super high-end from Mecca or Sephora and they go, well, this is the best because it's this much. And I say, well, I'll recommend or prescribe a skincare or a product from Is Clinical specifically. And they go, oh, it's actually more affordable. So sometimes they're a little bit taken back when it comes to it, but 100%, when you walk into a place such as Mecca or Sephora, patients are overwhelmed and they go, well, TikTok told me that I need this. I'm like, no, we can even taper it back a bit more. So I think it's quite special when we can do that for patients and actually make it a bit easier and a bit more enjoyable rather than something that's overwhelming or a chore.
Or you'll buy something and then you'll learn 4 weeks later, oh crap, I used 5 times the amount that I was meant to use and it was meant to last 3 months and I'm complaining it only lasted a month because
Well, yeah.
I didn't use it properly.
Well, that's the thing. I also send patients after they've kind of got their skincare. This is where AI comes in as a really handy tool where I've trained one of my AI agents to help me write and my treatment plans or my skincare plans with what to use, when, and how much. So that's where I really like to incorporate AI because it breaks it down into a simplistic way and I go, right, I put it on my fridge so I can memorize my routine and it says how many drops and when and why. And it just makes life a lot easier for them.
You're like a personal trainer, but instead of for the body, like you're for the skin.
Well, funny fact was I was a personal trainer once upon a time. So pretty much we are, making sure that we're taking care of everything and we're writing down plans. It's the same as writing an exercise routine. If you can make a patient's life a little bit more enjoyable and less overwhelming and give the patient an experience that they won't forget, why wouldn't you if it's taking you an extra 20 or 30 seconds? This is where patient retention comes in. If you're providing with an experience of, custom treatment plans or custom skincare plans that you can use AI to your advantage, why would they go anywhere else? They're like, oh yeah, great. I've had such an amazing experience and it hasn't taken us much extra time to do.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Jamal, looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of your business and the role that is clinical and skincare will play in the industry?
I think what excites me is just how forever evolving it is. So like this year is all about, a regenerative approach and skin quality and health. And it's always kind of been at the forefront of my business now, but it's gotten even better. So, Is Clinical has had a few incredible launches. They've launched their Daily Dynamic Hydrator Moisturizer, and I've expanded the range in clinic to kind of suit patient needs. So I'm really excited to see what other product developments come out because I find skincare so exciting. It's like my candy store. I like coming to my clinic and I pick and choose and go, I'm going to try this and that. But the other thing as well is expanding into their in-clinic treatment range as well. So they've got a few really cool treatments and I'm on the hunt for an amazing dermal therapist to help me out. But they've got some incredible peels. They've got some incredible facials that incorporate treatment results and also an experience, which I think is really important as well. But all the focus of 2026 is skin health. And I think Is Clinical really gets it when they bring out a new product and they talk about it because they're so passionate about it and it excites me. So it gets my patients excited as well.
I'm excited. That's fantastic. And now we're going to move into the rapid fire before we wrap up. What's one word that best describes your business?
Edgy.
What's one thing every great clinic should prioritize?
Patient experience.
And what's one skincare mistake you see too often?
Over-exfoliating or overusing retinol and retinoids.
What's one quality you think makes a business truly memorable?
Being genuine and speaking from the heart, I think, is a very big thing.
Tea or coffee?
Neither. I would take a Red Bull or an OxyShred energy drink any day.
Is that good for your skin?
Oh, look, it's not good for your skin, but here's one right now. Like I always have one on hand. It gets you through the day and it's clean energy. Look, everything in moderation is okay. And that's my one vice.
Fantastic. And early mornings or late nights?
Late nights, I seem to get a lot more work done when I'm sitting in front of the TV and I've just got my MacBook on my lap. So late nights for me.
I think you may have just answered this one before, but
Tell me.
one thing that helps keep you focused?
One thing that keeps me focused is the hustle of owning a business. So like having those challenges thrown at us. So like when APRA and the TGA came in, you kind of go, right, we've got to kind of adjust to these changes and think outside the box. So it's very funny. Challenges thrown at me keep me focused in a very strange way.
I thought you were going to say OxyShred.
That too.
Much better. And what's one piece of advice you'd give someone growing in the aesthetic industry?
I think the thing is you need to just try. With me, I was never really a business owner before I got into aesthetics, and I'm only a couple of years in. But I think if you truly believe in yourself and you try things and you're constantly working on things behind the scene, nothing is ever going to be easy. You need to put in the work and put in that love into your business, and it will come back tenfold. I'm constantly working, constantly evolving, constantly growing, and it's coming back in ways that I never imagined where, for example, I own 4 high-end devices outright. I have 2 locations that I'm really proud of. I've got, amazing patients that support me and come to me specifically. That humbles me so much. So it's all about just pushing through. When you have those voices of self-doubt, throw them to the side, give it a shot. You're going to have waves with your business as well, where you're like, oh my gosh, it's so quiet. Oh my gosh, it's so busy. But just keep on going and you will be so happy at the end of it that you're doing something for yourself.
And what does success look like for you right now?
Success for me is about patients coming back happier at their appointments, where they're like sticking to their treatment plans. That is success for me. It's not about how much money a patient specifically will spend with me. That will come with time. But for me, it's about making sure that I have enough to take care of myself, put money back into my business and grow, and to not really, how can I put this in words? Success for me isn't about comparing myself to others. It's about comparing myself to what I was doing maybe 6 months ago and seeing better results or seeing better numbers or, newer patients coming in. That's what success is.
That's amazing. And as a judge and obviously a speaker as well, with the awards coming up, finally, this is the last one, what does being an aesthetic business master mean to you?
Oh, that's a good one. I haven't actually thought about that question yet. So an aesthetic business masters is someone that kind of fits all of those good values as a practitioner. Do you do good by your patients and yourself? Are you constantly looking at ways to develop yourself and your business? Are you willing to invest in education and listen to people and take those things on board and put it into practice? I think that's a very important thing. And the thing that drew me to Aesthetic Business Masters out of all the conferences, I said this to you before, Nicole, this was the one conference that I walked away with and I left so inspired to grow my business and put a lot of those things into practice that I heard on the day. The talks were quick, they were sharp, they were educational, and it was like, right, I can put this into practice tomorrow. The other conferences are great, don't get me wrong. This isn't me kind of bad nothing or saying there's anything there. They're educational from a standpoint of us as practitioners. But in terms of business building, that's why Aesthetic Business Masters or someone that embodies Aesthetic Business Master stands out.
Oh, Jamal, thank you so much for your time today. It has been such a pleasure, and we've just whipped through so many cool points, and you're such a natural-born storyteller. I can't thank you enough for your time.
Thank you again for having me, Nicole. I can't wait to see you at Aesthetic Business Masters. I'm pumped. I can't wait. Yay.
Jamal, thank you so much for joining us on the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast. It's been a pleasure speaking to you about your business journey, how you integrate is clinical, and why skincare plays such an essential role in achieving strong client outcomes and building a successful clinic. These are the kinds of conversations that help move our industry forward, practical, honest, and grounded in real experiences. To everyone listening, thank you for tuning in to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with your network, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep mastering the art of aesthetics.